Oh my God, it's Sunday. Like, oh my God, she's like posting again. Hate that Valley Girl. That was like a really popular thing when I was growing up, Valley Girls, which now that I think about it, that affectation that they say younger people have, I think it might have become a permanent thing where people just like do that. I forgot what it's called, but are we really going to do that? I mean, do you really care? Blah, blah, blah. And I seem to recall when I was growing up, that was called being a Valley Girl. The Valley Girl, I think, sounded a little bit different than that, but it's very similar. I'm totally, it's today is non sequitur day. Hi, it's Sunday. It's me. I'm posting. I'm meant to have everything planned. And the YouTube AI algorithm tells me that me making excuses every week is why people click off because nobody wants to hear why I didn't do what I said I was going to do. I don't fucking care, okay? I am trying to build a habit to do this. That's not very easy to do, to start talking on camera again when for years you just didn't do it. And also, I don't have, it's not a confidence thing because I'm very comfortable in my skin. I'm confident and comfortable in my skin and who I am. But I know that I probably don't present as well as it did back when I used to be um, the cam girl with all the political who was on cam sites. This is how old I am. Used to be on cam girl sites in my bra is just to get people to come to my website because I sit there and talk about politics and pop culture and all these intelligent things. I really wish I still had that audience. It would be nice for them to see, back when I was 25, wow, it ended up at 50. I'm still all right. I'm still all right, I think. I wish I looked as good in a bra, as good naked as I did when I was 25, but you can't win them all. I was complaining earlier on Instagram that I got hit a little bit harshly with the menopause stick. I think I got hit with the not being rich and the menopause stick. Some women go through menopause and they don't have a huge amount of changes. Some have gigantic changes. I probably was somewhere in between because I ended up putting on a ton of weight. I spoke about this last week, which is why I've got the turkey neck and the saggy belly. Um, but I didn't wrinkle as much. I mean, I'm starting to notice it lately that I'm starting to get a little wrinkle, but that's, I think, more has to do with the amount of weight that I have lost. And I continue to lose because I seem to be sick, although the doctor says I'm okay, but that's another story for another time. Again, I did a whole lot of talking on Instagram just now. But like I ended up getting the really bad skin. I got like, because you can have hormonal post-menopause hormonal bad skin, which is what I have. And then I lost some of my hair, and I got the wrinkly neck and the wrinkly tummy. That's a combination of having enough collagen, able to make as much collagen because I don't have as much estrogen. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, and maybe some Turkish like. Turkey hates, everybody hates Americans now, but I'm not going to be American for that much longer anymore. So that's another story. Um, if any Turkish company wanted to like sponsor me, like, hey, she's really fit again and whatnot, we will sponsor her uh, skin surgery or whatever, I would take it. Like, I ain't got no shame in my game. Like, I want to be happy for myself. I think it's fine. I notice people who are like me and I don't. I notice it just because I notice that, hey, you had a struggle too. But I think you should be comfortable however you are. That's just my choice. I'm not doing it for other people because I really don't care what other people think. But I am a scuba diver. I wear swimsuits and sometimes I'm just like, hmm. I mean, I'm much happier than I am when I gained way too much weight from menopause. And I worked really hard to get rid of that menopause belly. And I still work hard on it. And it is a hard fucking work. But, I should be proud that I was actually able to accomplish that because most women are not able to. And I'm in the like putting the muscle back on phase of stuff. But still, I still have a little bit of vanity. I remember what I used to be. And we can't be who we were when we were 25. But man, I wish I had the money of trying to hold it together until I was like 65 or something like that. Get a few. I don't want a facelift or anything, but I wouldn't mind having like my belly a little bit just because I liked wearing bikinis. I liked running around in my bra. I mean, I'd be interested in dating and stuff like that, but I still liked being cute for myself. And this is not a pity post. Like, I don't want people commenting like, girl, you still fine. Because first of all, you're lying. And number two, like, that's not why I'm doing this. I want it to be very real. I'm very transparent about how I feel and exposing myself and being, very genuine about the type of person I am and my insecurities. And if that's like the only insecurity I have, then I've lucked out, because there's a lot of women who have far more insecurities than that. If I were to sit here and talk about it, the thing that I'm most insecure about is my turkey neck. The fact that I lost some of the volume in my hair, which nobody can tell because I have really curly hair, but if you've seen when I was younger, it was like, and the wrinkles on my saggy wrinkled belly from all the weight loss. And that I'm not rich, but that's not my fault that I'm not rich. I did everything I was supposed to. Which brings me to another random topic. I had a really rough week this week. For those of you who have seen the post, you know that I was, the posts that I delete. Those of you who have been around, you know that I was almost evicted from my apartment last year, and I was almost homeless, just because of the really bad 3 to 4 years that I went through, which is, the irony is that, like, I find a job and it looks like I may lose my job again just because of how bad the economy is. But because of that, I ended up, and I'm going to be very transparent about stuff. Because of that, I ended up not paying my credit cards. I ended up owing back taxes and just having debt to the insurmountable, literally insurmountable debt, because I was living off my credit cards and trying to survive 3 years without a job because I couldn't find one. And then my parents dying, I mean, I had nothing. If I hadn't had someone help me get the job I have now, I would have been on the streets. But that being said, the crows eventually do come home to roost. And this week, because of being called to court for one bill, I decided to go look up all my other bills and found that I was supposed to be in court on Tuesday, and nobody had ever served me, and I didn't know about it and whatnot. So I'm scrambling and whatnot on Tuesday to go to court to represent myself, or actually ask for a continuance, because they never ever served me papers, which you're not supposed to do. And I wouldn't have known about it if I hadn't been served with actually legitimately served with other papers, and I decided to look stuff up. And so I'm scrambling, and I ended up going to court. When I get to court, they tell me that it's actually on Zoom. I didn't need to be at court. This is like 5 minutes before. So I'm scrambling to figure out, well, not figure out because I know how to do it, but it's still a bit of a hassle to put Zoom on my phone so that I can be in court. And I get it on my phone like 30 seconds before I was supposed to be in court. And I made a point to show that the court was behind me or whatnot, to find out that the judge says, hey, your case has been dismissed without prejudice. We decided to do that this morning, which means they can bring it up back against me, and I'm sure they will. But I'm sure he looked at the docket and was like, she's never been served. How are you sitting there taking her to court when she's never ever been served properly? So that was a huge, huge blessing, a huge blessing. But my God, like Monday through Tuesday was just a ball of stress. And it ended up, like, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm so not out of trouble yet, and I probably never will be. But that's a small win. Then the other small win that I had this week was I decided to go check on my application. It's an application for proof of Canadian citizenship. My grandfather was Canadian, and because of all the BS that's in the U.S., BS in the U.S., BS in the U.S. Because of all of that, especially last week with them, basically wanting black people not to vote anymore and talking about repealing the 14th Amendment because it got rid of all the Latinos, and they're expecting that my half-black ass is going to go pick cotton. I am far too beautiful of a creature, even at 50 years old, to go be picking fruit in your field. And I'm far too frail. Not beautiful, far too frail. I'm not trying to be flippant or rude to the immigrants that we have scared away who picked our celery for us that we didn't appreciate. But that's basically what they thought. They thought they were going to get rid of all those brown people and replace them with all the black people because there's no DEI anymore. So therefore, we can't be doctors, lawyers, and IT people. We can go back and pick in the fields like our kind's supposed to. I can go on and on about that. It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. This everything here makes me so angry. But anyways, Lost Canadians Act, and I'd always wondered about that. I'm part of that act, and I qualify. So I filed the paperwork in January, I think, and it was in application received mode, and like you never know what's going to happen because it means they got it, but they weren't processing it. I just needed a pick-me-up this week after what happened, so I decided to go check on it, and it's in processing mode, which still means it's probably going to be a year or so, but it's actually, the government of Canada has it, and they're processing it, and it should be really clear because I'm lucky. My last name matches all the way through on my father's side, obviously, and that's the side that's Canadian. So they should see my birth certificate to my dad's birth certificate to his dad's birth certificate to his dad's birth certificate. It's a straight line. There's no like by marriage or anything like that. Like I am a direct descendant. So hopefully I will soon have Canadian citizenship within the next year. Get my Canadian passport and whatever crazy stuff they think they're doing here, be able to leave. A lot of people in Canada are worried. They don't want to have American attitudes up there because they see the worst of us besides the Maple MAGA. And they're also worried that we're going to go there and take their jobs. So let me be very clear about something because I said I was going to talk about this. I want the second passport to have options because I don't trust living in the United States anymore. It is getting way too expensive. It is getting way too, it's like regressing when it comes to black and brown and women here. And I don't think, especially after this week when you see what's going on with the gas prices and food prices and stuff, very few people, the dumb fucks, I'm going to cuss, I don't care. The dumb fucks are the ones who are still saying, well, golly whiz, whatever Trump says, I'm going to be okay with it. I'm going to be okay with it. You know, whatever he is fine. And the rest of us realize that paying, you know, at least in Chicago, paying almost, wait, let me take a look. I don't know if it's in $6 or if it's $7 yet. Let me look at the Costco app real quick. And I will let you know because that's Costco gas, at least for me, is still cheaper. So let's look at our local warehouse. What is gas price? $5.89. I don't know about you, but $5.89 with the cost of everything else that's going on. It's just really not what I can afford. Canada isn't any cheaper when it comes to housing. Canada isn't any better when it comes to jobs. They actually have a higher unemployment rate than they do in the U.S. So for any Canadians who are listening right now, I am not coming up there to take your jobs. What jobs? It's hard enough time getting jobs here. What it is a safety net for someone who's me, a single 50-year-old woman who's half white, half black, but not white enough to be able to have a way out of here if it gets pear-shaped. On top of it, my ultimate goal is to expatriate myself. I'm hoping to move to Portugal or to Spain or to Vietnam or Indonesia or Thailand. And the Americans are looked very poorly and even more every day. And Canadians are looked on fondly, so I want the Canadian passport. I'm entitled to the Canadian passport. I would be a great representative for Canadians because I'm nice. And yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to save my ass here because I sure as hell know America is not going to save my ass. America doesn't give a shit about me. I'm the wrong color, wrong gender. And that's just how it is. Please come at me in the comments. I dare you. Please do. You do it. So that was really good. That was a positive thing that happened this week and made me happy to see that even though it's going to be waiting. And I'm trying to think what else happened this week that was pretty cool. Oh, I went to go see my favorite band yesterday. So you can see. I went to go see the Afghan Wigs and I was going to leave because I couldn't see anything because your girl, she's only 5'5". And like I was behind everybody. I couldn't see the stage or anything like that. And I was like sad puppy and everything. And I was like, I'm not going to sit here for an hour or 2 hours just to not be able to see anything. And I don't know how I managed it. I just started having a really nice conversation with this lady who was right in front of me. Who was right at the barricade. And she pulled me up. So I got to see the band. I was on the second tier at Metro, which is really good because you can see the stage better than just being low, I think. So I was up there right at the gate, and I was able to see the band, and I had a really good time. They were really, Afghan Wigs are still really good, even though they're old like me. So that was a good thing because I didn't think that was going to work out. And I'm trying to think of what else was good that happened this week. I feel like there was something else and I've forgotten it. See, I'm trying to show my gratefulness. But those were the court case got dropped. My Canadian citizenship is being processed, and I got to get into the front row at the front row at the top of the Afghan Wigs, and I got to see a really awesome show and have a great vision of it. What else happened this week? I ended up purchasing a 4-season tent. This goes back to me almost being homeless last year. And if you're in Chicago as well, a lot of big cities, I think you can go see, like in the parks, there's a lot of tent cities because, again, who can afford rent, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm being quiet now because I do know some people saw those videos that I took down, and my stance is still the same, if you know what I'm talking about. I'd rather not be here than living underneath a bridge, okay? Because I used to be a social worker in another life, and I know how that ends up, and very few people come out on the other side of that. And I personally am not looking to be abused on the streets as a 50 plus year old. I'm still 50, but I'll be 51 eventually, and eventually, hopefully, God bless, I'll be 60. But I don't want to be out on the street. And the tent that I had was over 20 years old. The waterproofing was gone. And it's also not a four-season tent. Like, if you've been in the Midwest, you know what it's like. I don't have enough money to move someplace else. I don't have anyone that I can stay with. It is me, myself, and I. I have no family, no friends. I have one friend who helped me out, but that got really weird because she didn't want to tell me where she lives for some reason. And that made me feel bad because I was really grateful for the help that she gave me last year, but I also just felt like she thought I was a problem or better than her, and or that she thought she was better than me. I don't know. That's something that really still bothers me. And I haven't spoken to her in a while, and I'm figuring that there's probably a huge disconnect where she thinks I'm ungrateful, and like she tried to help me out, and I just didn't care, and I was being used or something like that. When that's not it at all. I was extremely grateful, but when I tried to send her like a Christmas card or some other stuff, I asked her 3 separate times, hey, where do you live so I can send you a Christmas card? And she's being so sketch about it and just not really responsive. And I don't know, people can have stuff that's going on in their own lives, but I wasn't going to show up on her doorstep or anything like that. I just wanted to send her a Christmas card to say thank you because I'm still old-fashioned that way, and I think it's really nice to get cards in the mail, and I don't know. I don't know. And there you could sit there and say, Tech, why don't you reach out to her? It's like, I did a couple times. She didn't want to give me her email or her mailing address. I don't know. I don't know. I got bigger fish to fry at this point in time. So going back to it, I ended up buying a 4-season canvas tent, like old school tent, just in case, because I think I might have mentioned last week, I only have one customer at work, which is really bad. We have no pipeline. The market's getting worse. I also got my rent, my lease renewal. I'm lucky. My rent only went up by $85 for the next year, which is still a lot, but there's other people in Chicago whose rents are going up by like anywhere from $200 to $500 a month. I kid you not, because we don't have rent control, but it's going up from like $200 to $500 a month. I can't afford that. There's no way I can afford that. If I don't lose my job, I can still afford my rent next year. Yes, I can. But with the other pressures that are going on with the food prices and gas prices and stuff, this is going to be me doing a lot of juggling. Because the most important thing is to have housing. Housing is more important than food. I'd argue that usually, especially in America, you can always find some sort of food because of the food waste that goes on. But that's another whole topic for another time. Or actually, we'll talk about it briefly here, that food prices are up anywhere from, like they said, 5 to 8%. When we hit winter of this year, because of the Strait of Hormuz with no fertilizer, because of scaring off the immigrants, they haven't planted what they should have because they couldn't afford the fertilizer, or the fertilizer just wasn't there. Also, they don't have enough people to pick the crops because they were expecting me to show up and quit, my master's degree in telecommunications engineering and go pick, celery. Again, this is not me to put down people who pick celery, but it's about the bigger picture, what certain people in America are expecting people like me to be doing. I said, I ain't watching your little babies. I'm not picking your cotton. I'm not going to be master's missus. I will poison everyone. I will stick arsenic in your baby's milk, and I will poison the food, and I will salt the fields if you sit there and try to do that to me. Anyways, so yeah, I bought the tent, and I'm really excited about it. I'm supposed to go camping in July anyways, So I'm going to test it at that point in time. But it's a canvas tent. It's a bell tent. It's type that you can actually put a heater in with wood. So here's my plan. If I get evicted, I'm going to take my car and go find wood someplace. And I will get evicted from the woods, but at least I have something that's going to keep me warm. That's a lot more stable than an REI half dome tent in the Midwest, because I'm not going to have enough money to gas to go someplace else. Though I have one friend who I think lives in Arizona or New Mexico who might help me out if I need to stay on his land in my tent. I haven't asked him, and maybe he's watching this. You let me know. I don't care if you walk around the property naked. I'm not walking around your property naked, but if worst comes to worst, can I pitch my tent in your desert? Now that could have some weird double entendres there, you know. Can I pitch my tent in your desert? But really, can I pitch my tent in your desert? And I'm going to laugh all night about that. And for a place to stay until I can go, because as long as I can afford Starlink, I'm sure I can find something online that I can do. I'm pretty savvy about that. I won't make money, but I mean, what I'm saying is, like, probably could sit there and get a project here or there that I can work on, I hope. I don't know. The one thing with all of this AI that's going on that I see that I don't think they can replace is I don't think they can replace project and program managers, because as long as there's still humans and there still needs to be judgment from a human about what we do in order and how we do it and the politics that are involved with it, I don't see my role being replaced. I was a little concerned about that. So it's different when we don't have enough work and enough pipeline for me to have customers to work on. But in general, the field that I work in, which is project management, more specifically IT project management, I just don't see, it'll be a lot of competition for jobs, but I don't see us getting completely replaced eventually, but not like in the next 5 years. I just don't see how that could happen, because it's the technical side of things that I need to know, but there's a lot of the human condition I need to understand, and how businesses operate and stuff to do what I need to do. Man, my hair is bothering me so much because it needs a cut. Yeah, I don't care if this video is bad, because at least I'm posting it. How's my cat doing? She's still alive. She's still alive. Her hoo-ha's still manky, but she's still alive. She's sleeping a lot. She's sleeping. I mean, we're in the palliative stage with her, but she still wants to eat her treats. And because I want to give her a good time on the way out, I made a point to go buy some smoked turkey, which isn't the best thing for her or for me either, because the nitrates in the meat. But I got her a pack of smoked turkey, and I've been giving her little bits of it because she loves it. So she's still eating and she's still drinking water. She's not eating as much as she should be. So she's losing weight, and her back end's getting more and more skinny. And I can feel the lumps in her body. It's cancer. It's cancer. I didn't take her to the vet because I still don't have a car to take her to the vet, and I just can't afford. And you're like, you just bought a tent. Yeah, I did. I judge me if you want. I spent $800 on the cat in the last 3 weeks. I told you that in the last video. I've got to do some things to take care of myself too. So, and I needed the tent just because I got so close to homelessness last year that I needed to take care of that. Also, she's 19 years old. What are they going to do? If she looked like she was in pain or whatnot, I would have definitely taken her in, but it's lumps and cancer and stuff. My car should be available this week, because I think I mentioned they've been doing construction in the alley, so I can't get out to use my car. So next week I'll take her to the vet if I think she needs to go, but I'm just kind of playing it day by day to see how she feels and how bad it is. I'm not going to let her suffer, but if she looks like she's suffering, she goes to the vet. Right now, she's just sleeping a lot. She still talks to me. She still purrs a lot. She's still eating, and she's still walking, and she's still pooping and all that other stuff. So with all those things in mind, I think I've been trying to make the right decisions. Things are so hard right now. And besides the internet and me and trying to get advice off of Claude sometimes, I don't really have anyone to talk to. So again, this is not poor me. This is not poor me. I don't want to be doing one of those videos where, like, poor me. Another thought. I hope people are still watching this, because this is a really interesting thing about my personality. I was rethinking about that tournament I did 2 weeks ago, and I think I said you have to earn the tap. I don't tap out. You have to earn it. But that's also how I live my life, too. I will tap out. If there's no other options left, I will tap out, because why should I sit there be in pain if there's absolutely no options left? And I was almost there last year. People know I was almost there last year. But I didn't. I waited until the last moment. At the last moment, something worked out for me. Same thing for in my jiu-jitsu tournament. She had me in a choke. I couldn't get out of it. But it wasn't so bad that I couldn't sit there and wait it out and hope that something would change. And I fight to the end. No matter what anybody says, I still fight to the end. And I'm still fighting to the end. I'm still doing the best I can with what I have. And still trying to create options for myself, i.e. looking for a way to get out of this country, i.e. getting the tent in case I lose my housing. I'm trying to set myself up, if not for success, to buy myself a little bit more runway as we go through these times. My next project too is to kind of start putting food away in my pantry. I've had food in my pantry, but it got really low when I was on SNAP and was about to lose my home. I have a paycheck right now, so what I'm going to start doing as soon as the car is available is start putting canned goods in my bedroom, in my pantry, flour and stuff like that. And you should too, because as I mentioned earlier, things are about to get way, way, way more expensive, so it's best to put them in now. And also there's just shipping disruptions, because if you don't have oil, you can't even get transport ships, plus the stupid tariffs that he hasn't repealed. It's going to be bad and rough times out there, and you need to start preparing for it. Don't call me paranoid. You got to prepare for it. So I have it planned out of my next 2 paychecks to stock up on, try to get like 3 to 6 months of like canned protein and beans and rice and tea, because I'm not a coffee drinker. I have a little bit of coffee, but the coffee is because of fitness reasons. Sometimes I'll drink coffee to move and lubricate things, if that makes any sense, when I need to, just because of all the supplements and stuff I take. But yeah, it's just all about being prepared, because this is inevitable. It doesn't matter if things change in the midterms, if we actually get elections and people get their minds back. What's going on right now is we cannot stop what's about to happen, because the planting season's already here. The diesel prices are already what they cost. We don't have the farm and labor population that we used to have. So it's not like, oh, golly gee whiz, they could sit there and open up the strait tomorrow and things could get better. No, we got to get through this. If they opened up the straits tomorrow, the earliest things food prices might come down, and they won't, would be probably, I would say, midsummer of next year, because then we'd have the planting going on again, because they'd have the fertilizer stuff. Because planting season for this year is pretty much donezo. The corn is I think the corn's in now. The winter wheat crop isn't that great, just because of the droughts that we've been having. So, and also with all the imports on Mexico, like produce, which we get, except in the summertime, from the Central and South American countries, is really, really expensive. So that's also why I've been losing so much weight. Like, who can afford to eat? Like, I sometimes don't buy stuff just because I'm like, I might be able to afford it right now, but I can't bring myself to buy it. And I'm trying to stretch my dollar by like only eating 1 meal a day. Luckily, I don't feel good, so it's fairly easy for me to eat 1 meal a day, but it's not the healthiest thing in the world to do. But at least I'm used to it now. So this is another rambly post from Ms. Tech. I was going to insert video from the Afghan Wigs concert, but I don't think that's a good idea, because I might get demonetized, or I'm not monetized. Will you like and subscribe for when I actually start editing these videos with B-roll and all that fun stuff? Again, right now it's just to build the habit of posting videos when it makes me uncomfortable. We're at a half an hour. I'm going to shut up now. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Maybe next week I'll actually bother to record something besides me whining. See, the camera's like going in and out. I also need a new web camera badly. Have a good week. Be safe out there.